Some kids are truly gifted. Some know exactly what it is that they want to do with their lives at a very early age, and they go after it. Some go on to shine early and do incredible things that many adults can only dream of doing. Kyla Pratt is one of those kiddos, and she excelled in Hollywood very early. As a child, she stayed booked and busy. We saw her cute little chubby cheeks across our movie and TV screens ever since she was 8 years old. And while she was out here shining brightly and taking the young entertainment industry by storm, her brother also knew what he wanted to do as a child as well. Unfortunately, his goals and aspirations weren't as sweet and innocent as his famous big sister's. Her brother had a very sinister plan in the works, and unfortunately, he was very successful in it. On November 29, 2003, the lives of Teresa and Gregory Williamson would be tragically changed forever. Especially Greg Williamson, because it was that day when his 19-year-old daughter, Nicole, would suddenly and swiftly lose her life right in his arms. Nicole, along with a group of friends sitting in their vehicle in front of her home, had just come back from doing Christmas shopping, when suddenly a car pulled up and shots rang out from the front window, striking Nicole in the head. The shot was fatal. She laid lifeless in her father's arms, and that car had disappeared as quickly as it had arrived, taking her soul with them. Who had done this? Why? None of them could have imagined it was a 13-year-old child that had just taken the life of Greg's daughter. Doen Pratt, the younger brother of actress Kyla Pratt, had the adorability to be in the same industry as his talented sister. Hell, they looked just alike, but instead of wanting to do something positive and amazing with his life, he foolishly wanted to take someone else's. Why, you may ask? Because while Kyla had aspirations of being an actress, Doen had aspirations to be a Crip. Born June 14, 1990, to a former semi-professional basketball player father and an elementary school teacher in Compton, as well as part-time actress mother, he grew up with lots of love and getting whatever he wanted. He grew up in a loving family and had caring parents, which makes his actions all the more disturbing. At an early age, while his sister was excelling in Hollywood, Doen got involved in the gang life. At the age of 12, he became an active member of the 190 East Coast Crips, particularly the Young Bastards clique. His nickname was Tiny Killer D and was mentored by another gang member called Killer D. The 190 hood was in a middle-class section of Carson. This neighborhood was gorgeous compared to other run-down gang-related hoods in other cities. Beautiful lawns and big houses, swimming pools, and luxury vehicles. Many would never know that this neighborhood was full of killers, gangsters, and mayhem. But apparently the 190s are a very hated section in Carson. Not very long after Doen joined the gang, it was time for him to be initiated to earn his position in the gang. On November 29, 2003, he and two other young men by the name of Javier Johnson and Marcus got their guns, got in a car, and looked for a rival gang member to shoot. They ventured into a rival gang's territory where they'd come upon their victim. Nicole and a group of her friends were sitting in a parked car in front of her house. Nicole was a student at Harbor College, and her friends weren't gang members. But unfortunately, the three guys hanging around her vehicle were gang-affiliated and were a part of the Centerview Pyrus. They were there all listening to music, laughing, and talking, when the driver of the car that Doen was in pulled up to the group, and Doen grabbed his gun. He held it out the window and let off 4 to 5 shots into their vehicle. The bullets hit Nicole in the head and her friend Rainisha in the arm and chest. Someone shouted out a gang name and sped off. Nicole died right in her father's arms as he cried desperately, begging her to hold on. November 29, 2003 was the day after Thanksgiving, and Nicole had spent the day shopping for Christmas gifts. The gifts were still in the trunk. Nicole's murder was unsolved until May 2005, when another gang member came forth with some information about the killing. His name was Jonte, and he told the detectives that Doheen and 2 fellow gang members came to his house the day after the shooting and said that they just got done busting on some tennis shoes. Tennis shoes is a disrespectful name for City View gang members. The detectives got in touch with Marcus, who was one of the gang members that was with Doheen during the killing. They let him know about the information that Jonte gave them, and in turn, Marcus offered up information as well. Ultimately, Javier and Doheen were arrested and convicted for the murder of Nicole in 2006. Javier was 16 at the time of the crime, but charged as an adult and sentenced to 90 years in prison. Doheen amazingly received a 10-year sentence, which was the maximum sentence for a 13-year-old. If he was 14, he could have been charged as an adult and put away for life. But state laws require juveniles to be released after age 25, even if they commit the heinous act of murder. While in CYA facility, Doheen attended school and took required courses. After serving only 8 years of his 10-year sentence, and at the age of 22, he was given an early release by the parole board. This pissed off Nicole's family, who felt they didn't get proper justice for their daughter. But the courts acknowledged that Doheen had completed his required coursework and had good behavior while incarcerated. So to them, this decision could not be revoked. This was a heartbreaking decision for the Williamson family. The Williamsons said Doheen has never even shown remorse or apologized to them for the damage he's caused. This is what Gregory Williamson had to say about Doheen. He still says he loves his gang. He's an OG now. He's going to be praised among the other gang members. They are going to look at him like he is the messiah of the gang. We're dumbfounded. You get longer for drunk driving. Here's also what the Williamsons had to say about Doheen's early release. No, I definitely don't feel like we got any justice. No, Williamson said. After him being in there for 8 years, I don't see where he understands the seriousness of the crime. He hasn't taken responsibility for it. He hasn't apologized. His apology was that he's sorry. He was in a gang. And the getaway driver, Javier, will stay in prison because he was 16 and was tried as an adult. Johnson was sentenced to 90 years in prison. And here's what Teresa Williamson said about the unfairness of the situation. He didn't pull the trigger. It's crazy. It makes no sense at all. It's also sad because it seems the Pratts don't really care about the damage their son has caused. His mother, Ketia, doesn't even believe he did it. This is what she had to say about the murder. Our hearts go out to the Williamson family for their loss. We continue to maintain that Doheen is innocent of the crime, that he was set up by gang members. We just want to get on with our lives. Upon release, Doheen was banned from the area where he'd taken Nicole's life. He couldn't associate with any of his previous gang, and nowadays he's a youth mentor and actively involved in a youth development group called MANDO, which stands for Mentors Against Negative Decisions Outreach. This is run by a group of men who had similar lifestyles that Doheen had, former gangsters and gang members, and they try to get thugs off the streets. Doheen spends his time continually mentoring others and hoping to stop them from going down the same path he did. But even still, it seems some have not forgotten what he'd done, and comments like this shows that he may very well be in danger one of these days.